What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media, talking some more recruiting. I did an A&M video yesterday, but I brought on a very special friend of mine, UGA-Boy Brian, a Georgia fan. And I'll tell you what, man, third-ranked class, they're doing pretty good. They had the number one class last year, or really 2 years ago, because I think Alabama just signed what they were calling the best class ever. But Georgia's done pretty well in recruiting more than anything else. They're always bringing in 5 stars, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Overall, talk about just Kirby Smart's recruiting so far at Georgia, and then just overall with signing day this week. What did you see?
Yeah, I mean, again, Kirby Smart bringing the wood, right, when it comes to recruiting.
For sure.
Never disappoints. I mean, we all know he's a good recruiter and everything else. I mean, we were kind of fiddling around there, jockeying for positions between Georgia and Alabama for the longest. And we saw Texas A&M, on 2 days ago, Wednesday, kind of catching us for, they were sitting there in third spot. And holy Beno, I could not believe they walked out. Really, to be honest with you, I mean, even though today anybody, I guess, still could commit, but more than likely they're going to walk out with that daggum number one spot in early National Signing Day, talking about the Aggies of Texas A&M. But yeah, Georgia's done had a really good class. I think it was more focused a lot on the defense. We picked up a wide receiver, a running back. Still can get a running back or two in February the 2nd on National Signing Day. So it's going to be interesting to see, Ballard, what's going to happen for Kirby Smart and the Dogs.
Oh, for sure, man. And I'll ask you this, too. I mean, they're so loaded on the defense year in and year out, but it seems like recruiting and just figuring out the offensive side of the ball has, in the past couple of years, especially with quarterbacks coming in, you got Brock Vandergriff, you got Stetson, you got all these guys on the depth chart, and it seems like Kirby has not completely, obviously, because I still hear you guys talk about some flaws and some issues, but it seems like he's figuring it out a little bit. But you're also, man, you look at the upcoming draft, you're losing quite a few guys on the defensive side of the ball. Which side of the ball do you think is most important going into February and just overall this week that they needed to focus on?
I hate to tell everybody, but it's going to be that defense because, look, defense, we're losing some key players up front, but also in that secondary. So, we talk about the big man, Jordan Davis, but we're also losing Wyatt, Devontae Wyatt. We're losing Devontae Wyatt. I don't know why I'm thinking of Devontae Smith, Alabama. But anyway, Devontae White. We're losing some other guys, in the secondary. So, defense, it looks like we're back at it. We're trying to get some defensive linemen, some safeties. And you saw a little bit of that, heading into early National Signing Day last Wednesday. So, I think definitely the key positions to rebuild. You would like to rebuild, I think, all around, but I think mainly it's defense.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, but do what?
Oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just going to say, so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. I think, I was looking, we got corners, some edges, some safeties, people like that. So, the new additions that Georgia's picked up already and moving forward what they can do in the future. Because, I mean, look, it's been known. Georgia's had really good recruiting classes, but I think Georgia fans get really excited. And, Ballard, you could probably agree to this or testify to it. Usually it takes about 2 or 3 years for the defense to really get amped up and going like Georgia really wants it to go for a national championship run.
For sure, man. And, this is like a senior and junior, just overall, what you guys have this year has been experience-led. But that's not to say like, oh, just now they're having a great moment. I mean, we talk so much about the big man, Jordan Davis, and guys like Adam Anderson and everyone else that you have. I mean, that it's taken them a few years to get as good as they are, but it's not that it's been a lack of talent. So, I mean, when you look at this, man, and Malachi Starks, Jaheim Singletary, you got Marvin Jones, you have these 5 stars here. And it's a lot. You got Mykel Williams, you got Malachi Starks here, 5-star linebacker, 5-star defensive tackle. It's going to take them some time to learn the system, get the fit. But, you know, are these guys that you've heard of that maybe you look at and say, can we start these guys day one?
I don't know, but I know somebody else who could be the Godzilla 2.0 on the rise after Jordan Davis, and that's Bear Alexander.
Yeah.
Look, I would love to say yes, but I think because of Georgia's depth chart, let's not forget and fool ourselves what Dan Lanning and Kirby Smart has built. I mean, we give a lot of love to the guys, you know, that's first string and everything else, but Georgia has built a lot of depth in the last couple of years. And so, you know, you got Latavius Brini, you got some other guys that may still get a start in front of other people that's still going to be there on that Georgia squad next year.
Absolutely. Real quick, I want to look at some highlights. I want to go ahead and look at this Gunnar Stockton. Now, he's a 4-star quarterback. At first, I thought he was a 5-star. I know that you and I talk on here. We also talk a little bit off here. And the one thing that's been a thorn in the side of Georgia fans is the quarterback position. It hasn't been bad. It's not a lack of talent at the quarterback position, but more so just the handling of the quarterback. So just talk real quick about where are you guys with the quarterback situation this year with JT being hurt. Stetson's had to step up. But then you got this Gunnar Stockton 4-star talent coming in. But you also have a guy like Brock Vandagriff. So where do they go going forward after this season? Do you see anyone transferring out? And at what point do we see this Gunnar Stockton kid?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's start with the guy that everybody really wants to play, and that's JT Daniels.
Yeah.
Now, if he graduates coming up, now he can be a graduate transfer. That's to say, if he does want to leave Athens and go find another place to be quarterback at. But, you know, more than likely JT will be back next year. And then you also still got the mailman Stetson Bennett, which, believe it or not, yes, we're still going to be talking about him in 2022. I know. Tell me about it, Georgia fans. And you talk about it being the thorn basically in the back for Georgia and everything. This goes back to when are we going to see Carson Beck? You know, 2018, we all know the story between him supposed to go to Alabama, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is he's been riding the bench behind everybody's coattail, it seems like. And he still hasn't really been able to play besides in garbage time. And then you got Brock Vandagriff. So, look, I hate to say it, but we Georgia fans may see the same repetition of 2021. Well, maybe not with JT being hurt, but it could mimic it, if that makes sense. And, you know, going into with Gunnar Stockton, you know, it's very exciting. You know, he's a highly 4-star recruit. He's like on that edge, right, to be a 5-star. You and probably others thought as well he was a 5-star recruit. He plays like it for sure.
He looks like it for sure, like you said. Go ahead.
Right. But Brock Vandagriff, though, he's pretty good too, but we don't know what all he can do under Todd Monken's offense and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a challenge for all these quarterbacks moving forward. I'll be honest with you, Ballard. I don't know where Georgia's going to be at in another year from now. But I definitely know this for a fact. I don't see – if you told me right now, if I was a betting man, by 2023 that Gunnar and Brock would still be on your roster as quarterbacks, I would say one of them's going to transfer out because it don't look too promising if they can't get the number 1 or at least the number 2 job heading into next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like I mentioned, like the quarterback situation for Georgia it's not a lack of, well, we don't have a guy talented enough. It's how are they coaching those guys? And just overall, like, when should the right guy be in the game? Like, how do you know you have the right guy out there? There's certain situations in game time. Sometimes you just are up against that defense where you need to run the ball. So you might want to put a mobile quarterback in there that can extend plays or whatever. Or you just need that gunslinging whatever. So, I mean, look, the thing about Georgia, what I noticed, and, I've heard from you, like, it's not a lack of talent. It's just a lack of Kirby, as great of a recruiter as he is, and he's a great defensive coach. Is it clear? I mean, he can't handle the offense, especially the quarterback situation, right?
No, and it's a sad doing in Athens. He doesn't know. It's clearly he doesn't know how to run anything when it comes to an offense. Maybe besides little draw up plays there and there with the help of an offensive coordinator, and it's so ridiculous that we're sitting here talking every year, whether if it's early or the big day, National Signing Day, that Kirby's inside the top 5, but yet he has a walk on that's probably going to start in Stinson Bennett, against Michigan in the Orange Bowl coming up. And I mean, we're talking about a big playoff game. We're talking about for all the marbles and, with them getting through Michigan. But the point of me saying that is that it's so crazy that, he has these big time recruiting classes, but yet we're still finding ourselves in quarterback situations where Georgia shouldn't be in them. And,
right.
The thing about it is I truly feel like it with all due respect to Zamir White and Kendall Milton, and as much as I harp on Kenny McIntosh, the fact in the matter is this: if we had bigger, better backs, who I believe this Robertson kid, Branson Robertson, that we just recruited, is supposed to be the new Nick Chubb, the bigger back kind of deal where he's going to muscle his way through. I believe that will sort out a lot of our quarterback problems. We just need some more better talent in the running back position, and we need some more key skill players.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, mentioning and talking Georgia recruiting with a big time Georgia fan, my good buddy, UGA-Boy. We call him Brian, though. So you guys always bringing in great defensive talent. And I don't know if you follow every single recruit, but what have you heard about 5-star Mykel Williams? He's 6'5", 265, big time overall recruit. What do you see in this player here?
Yeah, I mean, he's a stud. I mean, he looks like he can get downfield, do what he needs to do as an athlete, and I'm really interested to see what he can produce for Georgia. I really am. I think along with him, along with some other guys, I'm very, very excited with the class moving forward, what we can do. I mean, I'm really excited about who we picked up. I'm excited who we still have on the team that I know that's coming back. But at the end of the day, we've got to still muscle our way, whether if it's offense or defense, to beat Alabama, right? I mean,
right. And that's the mission. That's where Georgia keeps getting stuck. They could take a regular season loss every now and then, but how many times have we met in the SEC title? I mean, I know maybe it's only been 2 times or whatever, but still, like, it seems like more than that. Anytime you meet up with Alabama, you always have a good game plan going in. You have an opportunity. How do you get over that? Because with Alabama, clearly they're not slowing down with Coach Saban and their recruiting. Georgia's picking it up. But, and again, that's kind of what I titled this video. Is it enough to beat Alabama? Is what's coming in this year? Let's say our teams meet up again next season. Is it enough to get over that?
Well, here's the thing, Georgia and Alabama has met twice at Atlanta since Kirby Smart's been head coach.
Right.
So it was 2017, and then it was this past year. Okay, so but Kirby Smart though he's only won 2 games. Doing the math here in Atlanta, Georgia, he's only won 2 games out of like 4 and I think he's like 2-4, something crazy, right? And you would think like Georgia owns the record. With that being said, I've tried to compare oranges to apples or however you want to word it. And I'm just praying to God that, maybe because the games ain't being played in Atlanta, that we have a chance to beat Michigan and Alabama or Cincinnati, whoever makes it there. And that's my hope. But yeah, Alabama is definitely our roadblock. I mean, I think a lot of Georgia fans will not agree to this, but I intend to start. I'm starting to lean this away, Ballard. I think, and you actually may agree with me on this as well, that I think that Georgia's best chance to win the national championship is to see Cincinnati there, because look, you can only get so many tries before a man's being doubted. Yeah. And right now, Kirby's being doubted a lot because we've seen it. How many times? I mean, I feel like we've seen this movie over and over and over. Yeah, Georgia fans are excited. We're pumped up. We know what we have. We're coming in there to keep Bama's tail, and it never happens. So I think Georgia's best chance to win the Natty is Cincinnati. But, yeah, Alabama is the biggest roadblock. I think, and I truly believe this in my heart, I think that you remember how like the thorn in the side or the thorn in the back was Mark Richt's biggest problem with Steve Spurrier, right? Yeah. Well, there's no doubt about it. That thorn that's in the back there of Kirby Smart is Nick Saban. Yeah. And that just seems like it's the biggest problem for Kirby. And I mean, he's got to find a way to do it. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess Georgia's waiting with Kirby Smart for Nick Saban to retire. I don't know.
Well, and speaking of Alabama, but real quick, I mean, I really wanted to talk a lot about the recruiting, which we've talked a little bit about it, but I am curious now. I'll bring it up. You look at this, you guys are playing in the Orange Bowl against Michigan. It's Jim Harbaugh. This offense that they have with Cade McNamara, Hassan Haskins is amazing. And eventually I'll get my own previews out and I'll talk about it. But just as a fan, I want to hear from you. Forget about getting to Alabama and rematching in the title for a second, because, and Kirby is the kind of coach, and any coach smart enough would say, focus on one game at a time and don't overlook it. So the first roadblock, though, is a really good Michigan team. How do they get past that team to ultimately get to the title to play potentially Alabama, maybe even Cincinnati if Cincinnati gets an upset, but just to get to the title, which is what you Georgia fans want. You didn't want to necessarily win the SEC. You want that golden crown just like anybody else, but Michigan's in the way. How do you get past the Wolverines?
Well, they definitely got to fight like hell, and makes no excuses, right? This is all on Georgia. Georgia's got to find ways to beat Michigan. Since we say that the only roadblock's Alabama, I mean, look, the guys are going to have to do, whether if it's shifting movements on defense, whatever it may be, they're all going to have to pull together with a unit. They're going to have to grind, and they're going to have to make sure they shut down Michigan. I think it starts with the big guys up front, the front seven on defense, and hopefully, maybe the offense can just gel off of what the defense is doing, and it all comes together. They're going to have to slow down Michigan. I know Michigan. I haven't seen much of Michigan this year. Believe it or not, they kind of snuck up on me a couple of weeks, heading in. I think it really got for real when they beat Ohio State. But so I haven't really watched a lot about Michigan State. But I will say this. I did watch the Michigan and Ohio State game, and it looked like Michigan means business, and they're really fast. They like to spread the ball out and get it downfield. So we're going to see if Georgia's up for the test.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And, getting back to the recruiting real quick. Now, I saw news. Alabama recruited Ty Simpson, of course. I saw that he was ready and practicing for the bowl game and potentially is already eligible. Do you know of any players coming in? I mean, you got a lot of great talent coming in next year, but are any of those guys probably going to be ready and eligible to possibly play against Michigan?
I'm hoping and praying like heck. Dominic Blaylock, number 8, who's a wide receiver we're in desperate need. I hope he gets back there, back into the game. I know we saw a little bit against Georgia Tech of George Pickens, I believe. Maybe, no, it wasn't. I don't think it was Georgia Tech. It was actually Alabama the SEC championship game. But with that being said, he look, they've got to play, right? I feel like if Georgia wants at this point in time an opportunity to play Alabama, they've got to play. They've got to beat Michigan. They've got to play against Michigan, and it's not just those two guys. I mean, we've got some. I'm trying to remember off. Erickson Warren, I believe, or Warren Erickson. I think he's on the offensive line. He needs to get back into the mix. So we've got some guys a little nicked up there and there, but we got to. We just look if only if we had we talk about Jermaine Burton, but if we had some more wide receivers that will step up and everything, and be more playmakers for Georgia, that would definitely help us out. I don't know about players that's eligible that could play or whatever, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, because, I saw that, Ty Simpson for Alabama was practicing in a bowl game. And I think there was some other player that we just picked up. I can't remember who it was, but that's kind of what I was asking.
That's crazy to think about, That's crazy.
Yeah, I know sometimes players can enroll in the school early, even before signing day. They can get in, they can move in, they can do all that. And then signing day comes around and they sign with the actual team. And then, I don't know, I guess it's a waiver from the NCAA that – they say, yeah, you could go ahead and play. What the heck? And, they go out there. So, but that, of nobody in this class is immediate eligibility.
No, I don't think so. I would think that if anybody was eligible to play as soon as possible, it would be like an early enrollee kind of type of deal. But right. I don't know. I don't think we have any. As a matter of fact, this is I guess I've been hiding under a rock because this is, believe it or not, the first time I've actually haven't really been told that. I don't know why, but that's crazy to even think about it. How do they even know the playbook? Man, they must be really good, to even know the playbook to even play, right?
You gotta think. With meeting with the coaches and everything, you just never know what kind of conversations they're having or, what kind of contact, if they're, they do on-campus visits, phone calls. I know with the pandemic, they were on Zoom. I think some people still do that. Some coaches still do that with the players. So, it's interesting. You mentioned getting in early and being able to play and have to learn the playbook so fast. If that's the case, there's a lot that goes into it. I don't know. For all I know, Ty Simpson probably has dinner with Nick Saban after every Alabama victory this season and is talking with them and the team and hiding. I don't know. But, it's it's crazy. But I still think it's pretty cool, though, that players can get immediate eligibility like that. I'm not fully against it. I think it's pretty interesting because – let's be honest. Even you, for a Georgia fan, you're ready to see all the guys you picked up yesterday or this week.
Absolutely, yeah. And another guy that was a big-time recruit for Georgia was Drew Bobo out of Auburn, Alabama there. He's a 3-star. Don't let that fool you, though. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. He's an offensive tackle. They were talking about him, and they said he was a big man up front and getting down. So I'm really excited about the flip there. He was going to, like I said, go to Auburn. Another guy, though, Chandler Smith out of Dora, Florida. He's a 4-star wide receiver. I know we talk about these wide receivers for Georgia and how they need to step up and everything, but I'm really hoping Chandler Smith comes in too. I'm hoping that he'll play right away next year, but if not, maybe next year, and maybe he can get Georgia moving a little bit offensively.
You mentioned Drew Bobo. Is that Mike Bobo's son?
That's what I was thinking. I'm going to have to do some research on that. It could, it very well could be. It all makes sense, right? Drew Bobo was going to go to Auburn because of Mike Bobo being the offensive coordinator. Oh, wait a second, gets fired. Now he's flipping to Georgia. That is very possible.
It might be. And then who was the other player that you said?
Chandler Smith. He's a wide receiver. He's 6'1", 180 pounds. And he's not a little bad pickup. Let's see.
And is that the one you said was committed to Florida originally?
I can't remember where exactly he was committed at. I think he had some offers there, but I know he was a big pickup. I know for Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm trying to remember who it was, but you guys had a player that was a big time commit that I thought, didn't he flip to Florida? Who was it that you lost this week?
Oh, that's that. I know it. His last name is Wilson, wasn't it?
I think it was
Kamari Wilson. Was it Kamari Wilson?
Kamari Wilson. That was it.
Yeah. I can't believe he went to freaking Florida. Look.
Talk to me about that, though, because, I mean, while we were talking about it on the stream the other day, and I say this, like, if a player's going to flip from Alabama, in my point of view, you're like, damn, I can't believe we let that guy get away. But you can't get too mad because these are college kids. Their education, their football life and everything, I mean, that's up to them. So, I mean, on one hand, you can't be too mad. Like, okay, he wants to go to Florida. Wish him the best of luck. But how bad did Georgia miss out on that? I mean, he's from IMG Academy.
Yeah, it was a big
school.
Yeah, it was a big loss. That was a big hit for Georgia, especially, it's one thing to lose one player, but it's a player to lose at an IMG Academy and lose to Florida, and you beat Florida. Like, that's really hard to do, but Georgia somehow managed to do that.
And I want to hear Georgia fans. You better not be a Georgia fan out there saying, well, IMG's in Bradenton, Florida, so he wants to be in. No. Alabama and Georgia and Texas, all these different schools get IMG players, man. That's like one of the biggest. I mean, we talk about Florida. Half of the big-time Florida players, which is probably the biggest state to recruit out of, come from IMG Academy. And it's very hard to convince one of those players to come to a, big time. Well, they want to go to the big time programs, but you got to give props to Florida. The fact that they were able to grab a player like that and from Georgia is impressive.
Yeah, big time. And Georgia's had a lot of players that came in through, been pretty good dogs for Georgia through IMG Academy. So this, like I said, this was a big hit for Georgia. I mean, this one stung a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. Like, we could sit here all day and talk about this and that, but the fact that Florida at the time when Wilson was not committed, like when he was on stage, right, and he was about to commit, Florida had a NR. So Florida was not ranked at all. Not ranked at all. And this was and this is probably like their only 5-star recruit. I'm not looking at the thing, but the point being said is that this, it's their biggest recruit. And it's so crazy that a player would do that. I mean, not to go on and on and on, but look at this, the second best overall player committed to Jackson State. So it's so crazy, but who knows what players are going for. Maybe this guy wanted to play for Billy down there at Florida, and who knows, maybe it could have been another coaching position somehow that reeled him in at the end of the day. We do not know, but at the end, but when it's all said and done, Wilson's a Gator, and it is what it is. But yeah, this one stung for Georgia.
For sure. And I don't know if that's necessarily one of those where you look at, man, Kirby, you really missed out on that one. Or do you kind of look at Billy Napier, who hasn't even been in Gainesville for a whole month, and now here he is stealing from Georgia, a big-time recruit. I mean, I think you got to give props to Napier.
Yeah, Billy's done it. He's already striked at Kirby, and we're going to see if the Dogs can rebound. And I know one player don't make the entire team, but this guy was a really good skill position, in his area and everything. And I think he's going to be a good asset to Florida. Now, I understand Florida's lost a lot of people and everything, but he's still going to make some noise over there. And Florida fans have every right to be happy that they reeled him in. I mean, I know us Georgia fans, we would love to have him in at Athens, but at the end of the day, we didn't get him. So, who knows? There's the transfer portal, right? The chances are very slim, Georgia fans.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all I had for you, man. Any other things you want to talk about Georgia recruiting or anything to say before the bowl game? And then hype up anything you need to. I know you have your own YouTube channel. You've been around for a while, but you've been trying to just kind of put some great content out. I've enjoyed it so far. Y'all go subscribe to UGA-Boy 17. He's only got 13 subscribers. Let's keep building this man's channel. I'll put the channel link in the description, but y'all go check him out, go sub him up, and then any closing words before we get out of here.
Yeah, man, just go and like and subscribe to my boy Ballard if you haven't done it at Christian Ballard Sports Media. As you can tell, he puts good content out for y'all, even on days he has to work, but that's besides the point. Look, go out there and support these real YouTubers. You know who y'all are. And we appreciate everything you done, Ballard, and keep up the amazing work.
Thanks, buddy. I'm going to say this as a Bama fan. Roll Tide.
Go Dogs.
Yep. Thanks. Y'all subscribe, hit the like, and appreciate it.